Submarine Museum in New London, Connecticut, and we're going to be doing a guided tour today with various narrators, one of whom is with me now, James Littell. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm from Newport, Rhode Island, and we're really looking forward to seeing all the various submarines that were used, beginning with primitive subs that were, if you can believe this, in the 1700s, and then all the way up to nuclear subs that currently are in operation. And in fact, if you come here, you can actually go on board a beautiful submarine that was from the late 50s. Of course, since then, a lot of the technology has improved. But I think what's great about going on that sub is that it gives you a sense of how close and how tight the quarters were. And when you go on there, I would say, imagine if you were on this and underwater for 3 or 4 months at a time. So have a good time. Thank you. Hi. Well, how are you? Nice day. We came down to Newport, Rhode Island. So, what's the best way to do this?
I'll tell you what's going on. You gotta make your own decisions.
Okay.
Movie starts on the hour.
Okay.
45 minutes of submarine industry. Hands-on control room in this room. Next room's got periscopes. You also don't get in the sucker.
We get a lot of visitors here. We just sort of making the story for our friends up in Newport.
Yeah,
Because
no,
they're
it's
interested in seeing
not
it.
very crowded right now.
Yeah, you'd be a movie star.
What?
We're making you a movie star.
Yeah?
Yeah, so now can you actually go out on this submarine?
You can go down and get inside, yes.
And that's Trident submarine?
No, that's a Nautilus.
Oh, it's a Nautilus. When were they built?
58.
58. Was it the first nuclear sub?
Yes?
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you very much. So we'll do the tour just like you suggested.
Yeah.
This particular model, I remember these from the 50s when these came out. The reason why I remember these is because they made models that you could put together. And this is one of the models that I worked on. It was one of my favorites. What was really interesting is when I started building this Nautilus, it really kind of blew my mind that sleeping facilities were so tiny and little offices. Everything was miniature. And the thing that would always go through your head is that they went underwater, and wondering what was that like to do that, to go underwater knowing that, 100 feet you're below water and God forbid something would happen. The other thing that they had to do with these subs is they had to make the engines very quiet because the people that would be searching for you above the water, ships from enemy countries, they would be listening for the hum of the motor. And if they could pick up where you are, they could drop what's called bucket explosives, where off that ship they would trip off these cans, and the cans of explosive would come down, and they were made to trigger off once they got within close range of the sub. And so the United States, we lost a lot of subs in the Second War, and that these new submarines with nuclear energy, the big benefit was that they weren't putting out a lot of sonar. They wouldn't put out a lot of sound. They were dead quiet. So these things could sneak into all kinds of different waters of other countries and not be noticed. So anyhow, there was a horrific accident where one went under, and later on I'll tell you a little bit about that story and the song that went with it. going down in the sun. And this should be interesting. I mean, how many people get to go into a submarine of this nature? So here we go. Welcome aboard. Here we go. Now, the first thing I notice is everything's tight. And you'll notice once we get on board, everything is really close. Because they made these as compact as they possibly could. Over here is where all the pressure valves were. And what they would do, if they wanted to come up, they would release air. If they wanted to go down, they would pump in water on the sides. It's called ballast, which would pull it down. And then the engines just went. Another example of sleeping accommodations, absolutely tiny. Can any of you at home imagine sleeping in there? That would be freaky. So anyhow, as I was saying, this is where they can control forward, backwards, and up and down. So here we go. We're going to go into, we're on the stern side of the boat, and we're going to head in towards the middle of the ship.
Think you can make it?
Yeah. Here you go. No problem. And once again, see how narrow it is? This is what you have for one of the bathrooms. And I don't know where the vanity mirror is and the bathtub, I don't know where it is, but I guess they didn't have one. I'm joking. Kitchen, yeah, that's where the chef would work, or the sailors would make snacks. And here's the meal. And this is the officers' quarters. And the officers' quarters were always done up nice. It kind of shows its age. If you look back there, there is a reel-to-reel tape that was used in the mid-50s up into the late 60s. And whether or not that was for military purposes, or I have a feeling it was there for music. Here this guy has orders, and I'm not sure what those orders are for. What should that say? Ships?
Ship's position.
Yeah, where the location of the ship. I don't know if they use latitude and longitude, but check out what the officers had. Here's one of the officers' quarters. They had their own place. Over here is the office that the officer would have. Back here is
What looks to be more quarters.
and you can see the stripes on the uniform, which means that was a high-ranking officer. And another one back here, and that looks like just a lower-ranking position. This is a hatch that they would close. They'd have to go through this process. When they were going to dive down, and they closed hatches up and down the ship. One of the things they would practice is if they were hit, say back there, what they would do is they would close that door off so that if water was coming in from the back end, the door would, they'd close that hatch to keep the water from running forward. Same thing goes here. If the ship was hit on this side, they'd close this hatch. But every time, for safety's sake, when they dove, when they went under, they would close all these hatches. This hatch opens up into the bow of the boat, and this is coordinated with the ship rising and falling. It'll be closed off and on any dive, and once it surfaces, they'll open back up. The ballast tanks are what weighs it down. So if they want to surface, what they'll do is they'll send the pressure through, and it will actually blow the ballast out in a program type of way, because you don't want to go through there. So what it does is it simply sequences the ballast being released, and then the ship going up and surfacing. And then, if they're going to return down, they fill the ballast up with water, and that weights it down. Okay, now this is more navigating equipment. It tells exactly the tangents of where the boat is going, and it also provides tangents of any other ships that might be following them, any of the enemy ships. So it actually gives a course, and then up top it'll give a range. So this is where if they're going to release a missile, and then this gives them the range that they want to, the distance they want to cover to get the hit on the enemy ship. So this all has to do with the, it's an analog system, and it helps the torpedo figure out where it's going to go. And then it's remotely launched into a firing key, and once it's in the firing key, it gets blasted out from there. This is a navigator, and he's controlling the position of the ship, where it's going, how fast it's going, and the up and down part of it. All right, well, why don't we cut? This is a busy place, and it's a great place to come. A really good time. It was really fun seeing all the weaponry, all the different mechanisms used to raise the subs up and down. And when you have a chance, come down and see this place.
So we'd like to thank you all for watching, and make sure to leave a like, and subscribe, and join us for more videos, such as the beginning of our podcast, Small Tales Podcast, where we had a nice interview with Ellen Moss, the director of the Alliance Children's Theater.